Hey everyone, welcome back. Johnny B here with devslopes.com, and this lesson is the one that we have been building up to this entire section. In this lesson, we make our chat app a chat app, meaning we're going to have real-time communication between multiple devices, multiple platforms, all right? So this is going to be some super exciting stuff. Hope you guys are ready for it. All right, we're going to start out here in our socket service.swift file. In the last lesson, we added messages, right? And we were displaying messages. And so now we need to be able to listen for when those messages are sent to the server and then sent back to us, all right? So we are going to create our get message function. So let's get to it. We're going to say func get chat message. All right, and then we're going to have a completion handler. And we're going to say at escaping completion handler. Alrighty, so let's take a look at our API code. So I'm going to open up Atom, and let's see here, new message. Alrighty, so client.on new message. We've done this part. We send the server all of this information. It creates a new message, stores it in the database, and then sends out an emit. And so here is the emit that we are going to be receiving from the server. The event is called message created, and this is the data array that we're going to be receiving. Remember, with socket.ons, we receive back a data array, right? And that's just an array of type any. And so ours is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items: the body, the user ID, the channel ID, username, user avatar, avatar color, ID, and then the timestamp, right? So let's get to it. We're going to receive that array of data. We're going to parse through it and pull out the necessary information, and then we're going to do a check, because we're only interested in because someone else, user Billy Bob, could be using this app and he could be in a different channel than us. And so we don't really care if he sends a message and we're not in the channel that he's in. So we're going to do a check to see if the channel ID of the incoming message matches the channel ID of our selected channel. And if so, then we'll create a new message. Then we'll add that to our message service array of messages, and then we'll reload our table data. If not, we're just going to ignore it. All right, so let's get to it. We're going to say socket.on, and we want this one right here, event with string and the normal callback. The event name is message created. The callback, just going to press enter, and we have an array of any type, and so we're going to call this data array. The acknowledgement emitter we're going to call ACK, and oh no, ACK, there we go, and then in code. All right, going to close this bottom pane. So now we have to parse through this data array and get the information that we want. All right, so I'm going to say guard let message body was the first one, and we're going to say is equal to data array, and that is the 0th item, and we're going to set that, we're going to cast that as a string, else return. All right, next up we're going to get the channel ID. So we're going to say guard let channel ID is equal to data array, and this one is actually number 2 as a string, else return. And that's because if we look in Atom, we're not actually storing the user ID in our message model. So that's just superfluous information that we're not using. All right, and then I'm going to copy and paste these. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go through these. Next up, we got the user name, and that is going to be data array number 3 as a string. Then we have the user avatar, and that's going to be data array number 4. Then we have the user avatar color, and that's going to be data array number 5. Then we have the message ID, and that's going to be data array item number 6. And then lastly, we have one more, so I'm going to copy again. And this one is the timestamp, and that is the 7th item in our data array. Cast it to string, and so now we know pretty much everything we need to know about the message. And so like I was saying, now we're going to do a check to make sure that the incoming message it's in the channel that we care about, that it's in the channel that we are selected. All right, so I'm going to say if channel ID is equal to message service.instance.selected channel.id, and we are logged in, and auth service.instance is logged in, then we're going to create a new message, append it to our message service, and then we're going to say completion is true so that we can reload our table data over in the channel or in the chat VC. All right, so let's say let new message equal to message, and with the initializer we are going to say the message is message body, the username is user name, channel ID is channel ID, the user avatar is user avatar, user avatar color is user avatar color, the ID is ID, and timestamp is timestamp. Alrighty, so now we are going to append this new message to our array. So I'm going to say message service.instance.messages append new element. The new element that we are appending is this new message that we just created, and then we're going to say completion is true. If the channel ID of this incoming message does not match our selected channel ID, then we aren't going to do anything, and we're going to say completion is false. All right, awesome. I'm going to save that. Do a little bit of cleanup here. And recap, we are listening for an event from the server called message created. If we receive it, we get with it a data array. We parse through that data array to get all of the information that we want. Then we do a check to make sure that the incoming message is indeed part of the channel that we care about. If so, create a new message, append it to our array of messages, and say completion is equal to true, so that in our chat VC we can reload the table view. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and put this down here below our notifications. I'm going to say socket service.instance get chat message. We got a completion handler or a closure, going to say success. And so if we are successful, if success, then we are going to say self.table view.reload data. And that's it. Let's go ahead and test this. All right, so I'm going to run this. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to send a message. Sending a message on sockets. I'm going to press our send button, and boom, there it is, sending a message on sockets. All right, so that's pretty darn cool. Let's make it so that when we send it and receive it, it scrolls down to the latest one. All right. So here in the get chat message in chat VC, let's say we're going to do a check to see if there are more than if we have multiple messages, then we're just going to scroll down to the bottom one. All right. So I'm going to say message service.instance.messages.count if we have more than 0, and then we're going to scroll to the bottom. So we can say self.table view.scroll to row at index path. Okay. And so we need to create a, let's create a variable for the index path. We can say let end index. So we're going to create an index path for the very last one. And let's say index path. And we'll initialize that to be a row and section. The row is going to be message service dot instance dot messages dot count -1, so that'll be the very last row for us, and the section is 0 since we only have the one section. All right, so then here in scroll to row, and the row we're going to scroll to is, oh, I have a typo here. This should be end index. Okay, we're going to scroll to end index at, and then you can specify a position. So here we're going to say dot, and then I think I can, let's see if I can show you the other ones. You can do dot top, dot bottom, dot middle. We're going to do dot bottom so that it scrolls all the way to the bottom. And then for animated, we're going to say false. Okay, and let's go ahead and run that again. Alrighty, so let's try that one more time. In fact, I'll just be up here, and I'm going to say scroll to bottom. Send it, and boom, there we go, scroll to bottom. Alright, so now I'm going to show you something real cool. So this here is the Mac chat app that I build and teach how to build in our Mac OS development course. And check this out. So I'm going to type a message here in our Mac chat app. Coming at you from Mac app. And watch over here in our iOS app. Boom. Shows up right away. So we have a cross-platform real-time chat app working now. And right back at you. And then I press the send button and immediately pops up over here. And we can check out other channels. So just to check that we aren't getting messages that are sent in other channels showing up, I'm going to say here sent from random. Okay, so yeah, we didn't get anything show up here, but if we go into random, then hey, look at that. So this is some super exciting and awesome stuff, you guys. Woo, man. I really enjoyed making these apps. It was super fun working with sockets and everything. So what can we do next? You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can still do. There's some cleanup stuff that I wanted to take care of right now. So first thing is if we click on logout, these messages still stay here. So let's take care of that. All right, let's go over to our user data service. When we log out user, we need to clear all of the messages out. So I'm going to say message service dot instance dot clear messages. I'm going to save that, and then in our chat VC, in our user data did change function here, when we're not logged in, we need to say table view dot reload data. All right, so that should take care of that. And then the last thing that I wanted to do was when we're here in the chat, this blue button is actually only supposed to show up if we have entered text. All right, so just kind of a nice little UX, user experience enhancement. All right, so let's do that. To do that, we're going to use an IB action from the text field itself, and we're going to do a check to see if editing has begun and when it stopped, and we'll hide and show the send button based on that. All right, so to do that, we're going to need to do a couple of things. Got a chat vc.swift, going to option and click on main.storyboard, and we're going to need an IB outlet for our send button. So from here, I'm going to control and drag and say send button. I'm going to connect. And then down here, let's see, maybe right here, before the send message button, we're going to do a send, or not the send button. We're going to get the text field, the message text box. And I'm going to control drag over and change this to an action. And the event that we want is editing changed. All right, so anytime any editing occurs, this function is going to be called. And I'm going to say editing. Let's be a little bit more specific. Message box editing. All right, and I'm going to say connect. I'm going to close our standard editor. All right, so back in our chat VC, we need to show and hide the send button based on whether or not we are typing. So I'm thinking we keep a variable up here called variables called var is typing, and we'll default to false. Okay, and then down here in our message box editing file or function, we are going to say if the message text box dot text is equal to an empty string, then is typing is false, and we are going to send button that is hidden is equal to true. Else, if is typing is false, then send button dot is hidden is equal to false, and then we're going to set is typing back to true. Okay. And then another thing that we need to do before we run this is to set the send button to be hidden right off the bat. All right, so I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to say send button dot is hidden is equal to true. And then let's run that. Alrighty, I'm going to open this up, toggle the keyboard, and I'm going to start typing, and oh, hey, it shows up. Oh, hey, shows up. All right, very cool. Alrighty, so yeah, this has been an exciting lesson. We went through and we added the listener from the API so that we could have immediate real-time chat going back and forth. I showed you the Mac chat app, which communicated fluidly with the iOS app because they're both sharing the same backend, the same API. So that's some super exciting stuff as well. If you want to learn how to make that, go check out our Mac development course at devslopes.com. And yeah, so hope you guys are having fun. We still got just a couple of more features that I want to get in for you guys. But yeah, we're getting close to the end. So I'm going to sign off here and just add and commit my changes, and then I'll see you guys all in the next one.